Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the coolest and strongest ninja in the world of video games.
Eat this!
Ninja Blade is released in 2009 and it's developed from Software. Yes, the studio behind Souls series, Bloodborne and countless others. The game is action hack and slash in the vein of Devil May Cry, God of War and others. You take the role of Ken Okawa, ninja trained by his father, and they both work for an organization tasked to save Tokyo from deadly worms called Alpha Worms that turns humans and sometimes machines into vicious monsters. This is the story in a nutshell. Don't expect Oscar writing and don't completely throw it away. It's fine, and it also have one or two twists. The only thing I didn't like is the two unanswered questions. It's obvious that the dev was leaving room for a sequel, but it's highly unlikely to see it. The game was met with mixed reviews and in GameSpot's The Best of 2009 awards, it was one of the 5 titles nominated for Best Game No One Played. I confirm that. Go buy it and play it. From Software are famous for two things: great games and bad PC ports. With Ninja Blade they make the first step on the platform and it's not a good one, especially in the graphics department. All the textures are bad. The developer did put some effort in the video options, but here's the problem. When everything is on max, the game gets blurry, even the cutscenes, because they are using the in-game engine to render. There is one solution to this problem. Set every single video option to low, but after that the only somewhat good looking thing is our hero. Of course, the game is locked to 30 frames per second. You can make it to 60, but I didn't bother. There is one thing that From Software did right here. It's the gameplay. I highly recommend using 360 controller, but you can play with mouse and keyboard if you want. The funny thing is, they are absolutely fine. That is how I beat the game. But there is one little problem here. The moves are shown for 360 controller, but it didn't took me long to figure them out. The gameplay is non-stop hack and slash with QTEs. It's God of War level of QTE, but more for them later. Our hero gets in the first level 3 weapons. All of them are useful at certain situations. Only Slayer Blade. It's most useful of them all. Twin Falcon knives. Really fast moves, less damage, useful for flying or tall enemies. Stone Render Sword. Slow moves, but it does massive damage, useful for armored enemies. You can upgrade them by collecting blood crystals from dead monsters, and after that new moves will be unlocked. You also have Giant Shuriken with 3 elements: wind, fire and lightning. Wind, useful for putting out fires and hitting multiple enemies. Fire, useful for bombing and burning plants. Lightning, useful for stunning monsters. All 3 elements have 2 ways to throw them and you can upgrade them. Aside from blood crystals, monsters drop healing crystals that restore little part of your health. There is far more efficient way for this. Be on the lookout for hidden first aid spray under boxes, barrels and others. There are also a few other things you can find. One of them is Adrenaline Boost. It enhances attack and defense strength. The life and chi bar can be expanded by finding 3 hidden balls for each one. You can find alternate customs Shinobi Moji balls. After a little research I find that if you gather all the balls you will unlock Moon Sword. It is the ultimate sword, so if it's breakable, break it. And there is even more! Ninja Vision. It's for 2 things: slowing down time and seeing interactive objects in places. Ninja Vision and the Giant Shuriken are using chi energy. Quick time events. I'm not against them as long as they add something to the game. Here it does. Ninja Blade is ridiculous and over the top, but in a good way, and all the QTEs contribute to this. You kick giant spider in the face, throw a boss with ease, even surf on a rocket. Truly insane game. Just look at this scene and tell me it's not cool. There isn't much enemy variety, but when you consider the length of the game, between 6 and 8 hours, I was started to see the same enemies just on the final level. The bosses is where the game truly shines. They are big, great and many. Sometimes you will fight 2 bosses in a single level. The level design is boring. You will fight on rooftops or inside ruined buildings. The most memorable level for me was when I fought a giant 3-headed Hydra on the wing of a flying plane. Because of things like this, I said in the beginning, Ken is the coolest ninja. He even stopped playing with his hands. This is how over the top is the game. There are so many insane moments like this. There are also a few turret sections, but they didn't last long. The game had this little annoying thing for me. Repeating boss battles. They come on the last level and by then you are more powerful from your first encounter with them and you quickly kill them. I was never a fan of stretching the game like this. Voice acting and dialogue between characters are just fine, but the audio design is fantastic, especially the music. The soundtrack is amazing, heart pumping fast with a tinge of tension to keep you on your toes. Without a doubt, this is a highly underrated game. It's not the perfect or the most polished game, but it's a hell of a fun. How many games you have such over-the-top action? I hope to see someday a sequel. There is one certain thing, I will replay it someday. Ninja Blade grabbed me from the first moments I started playing it, and it's now one of my favorite games. I highly recommend it.